Good morning. Good morning. Why all of a sudden one institute is interested? Because I came from one institute of graduate studies, which is in Glenside, Pennsylvania. Thank you for the introduction. This morning is so beautiful, especially in this weather with your chanting and silent meditation. And I really enjoy joining your Dharma service. As you chanted Ilonsang vow, you know already Ilonsang, what Ilonsang is, and you know Dharmakaya Buddha. Those terms are very new for you, I think. Some of you already been here for a year. So I'd like to share Dharma Grace with the title, How to Worship Ilonsang, based on Master Chungsan, who is second Dharma Master, Dharma talk. Master Chungsan said, worshipping Ilonsang is to see that our mind is none other than the Buddha and our original nature is none other than Dharma. Second, to believe that the profound principle of causality is extremely fair and bright so that it cannot be deceived or violated. 3. To know the details of the fourfold beneficence of heaven and earth, parents, brethren, and laws, which actually rule over the karmic retribution of blessings and punishments, so that the object of worship can be relevant and realistic to our worship. 4. To practice at limitless worship that since the Buddha is manifested everywhere, everything should be done as making an offering to the Buddha. Since this is the way of worshiping the truth, actually, Grandmaster Sotaesan made it the mainspring to practice the correct doctrine by cultivating self-power and accepting other power. So Master Sotaesan said, seeing into one's original nature can be compared to a millionaire's recognizing his or her wealth as his or her own for the first time while living with no knowledge of that wealth, and following one's original nature can be compared to the millionaires recovering from others the right to the property he or she deprived of while living with no knowledge of it. So Master Sotaesan in the doctrinal chart introduced the Ilon, the truth of Ilonsang. You see the unitary circle behind me is Dharmakaya Buddha. It is the nouminal nature of all things in the universe. The mind seal of Buddhas and sages, the Buddha nature of all sentient beings, all living beings. So Buddha nature is in us and everybody, and which it is not different from all the Buddhas and sages. It is like wave and water. It's not like creator and creature. The creature can be the creator, but water is the wave, and wave is the water. So we are all look different, but we are all the Buddha in our original nature, in our Buddha nature. It's like there was a story in India There was a wealthy man and his wife. They wished having a baby, especially in India. Son is precious than the girl. Eventually, they had a son. And since they have a son, they wanted to celebrate with the wife's parents. So they had to travel long, so they carried a lot of food and along with servants. But on the way, unfortunately, they were attacked by thieves. And the thieves attacked the slaves and kidnapped their baby, precious son. And the couple were so sad. They spent a lot of time and money to find their son for a long time, but it was in vain. Sometime later, they found their son, who became a beggar, homeless. But they didn't tell him that he is their son. Instead, they hired him and gave a lot of work to do, like 3D work, difficult, dirty, and danger works in their factory and their household. So the young man, experiencing very hard time, it was too hard for him to endure those hard works. Sometimes wanted to give up and run away. But he endured and kept working hard. And eventually, when he learned a lot of trivial works to higher works, the rich man educated him how to manage those property to make grow. When he attained certain knowledge, the rich couple revealed the truth that the young man was their son and told him all the property is his. So he was born with wealth. Being enlightened on your true nature, Buddha nature, is like this. The wealthy son realized, the homeless man realized that he is already a wealthy man. We are all different and deluded by a lot of chores and troubles in our daily life. But deep down, our mind, our original nature is Buddha. So realizing that we are Buddha, our mind is originally Buddha, is attaining the knowledge that we are already Buddha, we are already wealthy. Then why do we need to see the original nature? It is good to realize that you are wealthy already. Master Chungsan said that if it's possible, he wanted to open our head and put that knowledge that we know we are Buddha. That much is important, because as a practitioner, if we realize that we are Buddha, the true practice begins from that. Without knowing that, it is like you are washing your hands in the dirty water. So we need to know that you are Buddha already. And whenever you are struggling with troubles or defilements, any emotional problems, you reflect return to your original nature, restore your Buddha nature, and start from there. Use your Buddha nature, which has infinite light and life. True wisdom rise from there. And the second one, to believe that the profound principle of causality is extremely fair and bright so that it cannot be deceived or violated. In the darkness, you cannot hide anything from you at the first place, so you don't conduct bad karma as long as you believe in the law of cause and effect. Like farmer, if you plant beans, at first you don't know which is the black bean, the red bean, which one is the soybean. But when you harvest, you know that you planted soybean or red bean. Once you planted like sesame seed, and your neighbor said, "Oh, this year the soybean will be more expensive. Can you change the sesame seed by chanting Namo Amitabha in your field, vegetable fields?" You know that you cannot. So, believing causality, actually you live more comfortable life, accepting any troubles and create better life from there. Because the cause and effect is not fixed, like destiny. Apple has seed, and you can say apple is the fruit and seed is the cause, and the effect you can compare. But you have seed, and you can plant the seed in a better fertilized and in the better weather. You can take care better, and you can harvest better fruits. So comforting your mind, you can comfort your mind accepting the things happening to you and create better life because you are the creator, your own life, and make better world. Generally, human beings abhor suffering and enjoy happiness. One may have sufferings that seems accidental or suffering caused by oneself. One may enjoy unexpected happiness or happiness one had earned. Though people love happiness and abhor suffering, there are few who try to examine the cause of suffering and happiness. One should live as ever eternally with deserved happiness and suffering by thoroughly discerning the difference between deserved happiness and suffering, and to keep undeserved suffering and happiness away. One should be heedful to practice mindful choice based on sound thinking while we're making applications by walking, standing, sitting, reclining, or eating. Another words of being heedful to practice mindful choice, because we know the cause and effect, we should be heedful on our conduct. So based on thinking is threefold practice. So your practice, threefold practice based on the realization of law of causality. A threefold practice are spiritual cultivation, inquiry into facts and principles, and choice in action. And those you can learn from Reverend Yu in the future, I believe. As a hair split second, by conducting with your mind and body and mouth, you can conduct good karma, accumulate good karma or bad karma. It's like a drop of water on the peak of mountain. It's split. So you should be very cautious when you use your mind and body, especially your mouth. And third, worshipping Ilwansang is to know the details of the fourfold beneficence. It can cover whole scripture, the Master Chungsan's teaching today. There are fourfold graces. Do you know what are the fourfold graces? Grace of heaven and earth, parents, brethren, and laws. It's a whole chapter of 4 graces. Master Sotaesan, when he got enlightened after 25 years searching for truth, he realized that although he got enlightened by practicing by himself, seemingly, he was benefited by heaven and earth, parents, brethren, and laws. He realized that everything in the whole universe supported him to be enlightened. So he categorized this beneficence graces as this fourfold graces. Look around. Can you live by yourself without the air, this fresh air, and the raindrops, even snow, and even the storm? When I lived in Miami, the National Park of Everglades is the national park. And there are 3 very important components to keep the healthy Everglades. One is rain, wind, and the fire. Even the fire keeps the healthy Everglades. What they are doing is, when there is a fire starts, they don't contain it immediately. They just leave it as long as it doesn't harm to the residential area. And when it's burned, the ash is very good as the fertilizer, and they expand the pond for the fish live to make the area bigger. And wind and rain are essential for the Everglades. So in our perspective, things are good or bad, but fundamentally, everything is benefit each other, interdependent each other. So whenever you have resentments or grudges in the past, let it go and return to your Buddha nature, your original nature, and be grateful for the things even you feel it's harmful to you, and find ultimate grace from that. That's the worshipping Ilwansang. Like, worship is not the just believe circle, this circle give you blessings or punishments. That's superstitious, right? You should know this circle is the pointing the moon, finger pointing the moon. Don't see the finger. You see true moon, which is in you and which is everywhere. So first of all, you are originally Buddha, is the way of worshipping 일원상, you are Buddha originally. You are not different from Buddha or Master Sotaesan, Master Chungsan. So whenever you have emotions or judgments, incorrect judgments, biased mind, prejudice, return to your original mind. And imagine if you are the Buddha or Master Sotaesan, how would you act in that situation? How would you say in that situation? Sometimes be silent is a way of expression. And second, accept all the things happening as a cause and effect and create better life. And third, be grateful for everything. Even though it's hard situation. We are deluded by very trivial things. And there is a funny story. There was a princess who was bothered by an irritating eye problem. Somewhat it's trivial, but for her it's big. As a daughter of a king, she is rather spoiled. So she is bothered by the irritating eye and keep touching and making worse. And the king tried to fix that and told the doctors have treat that. But she kept touching and she didn't like the ointment doctors applied. So it gets worse and worse. And finally the doctor declared, anybody who treats my daughter's eye problem, I will give you a lot of prize. And a man came by. He is not a physician, even a doctor, but declared that he's going to cure the princess' eye problem. And that's why he was guided to the princess' court. While after a while, he checked her eyes. He said that, the problem with your eye is not the problem at all. There is a big problem. And the princess inquired, what is it? He's hesitating. Without king's permission, I would not say anything. So king came by. What's the problem? Please let us know. King insisted. But he still hesitated. And king insisted again. What is it? What's the problem? And the man said, Princess, I will be cured in 3 days, but in few days, but she will grow her tail. It will grow 9 feet once it started. But if she caught the first very moment when it started, it can be cured. Imagine the princess day and night checking her tail is growing. So her eyes cured. So by instead of being deluded by trivial things, you need to check your tail. Okay. Reflect, return to your Buddha nature, and be a full-blown Buddha and live as a Buddha. Thank you.